Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javanokelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for another incredible session of the Daily African Proverbs. I am live on YouTube, but I am not yet live on Clubhouse. And I am going to be live on Clubhouse in just a moment. I want to set up the space on Clubhouse. And I hope you're all doing well. I hope you are all doing well. I'm just waking up here. I had a late night editing a project for a client. And we are here again, for another session of the African Father in America podcast. I really appreciate you all for the love and support. And, I can't wait to hear what you all have to say in regards to today's proverb. Our proverb today is from Mauritius, and I'm going to share it in a moment. If, you're on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. And if you are, if you're on your way, if you're going to be watching this later on, thank you again for, your continued support. It means a lot. It means a lot. I'm just getting started here. Let's see. Okay. Now we are live here on Clubhouse as well. And I'm about to, just bring in people into the room in just a second. Welcome. Jakumi, it's been a long time. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. We are here, as usual for the Daily African Proverbs. And today we are taking a journey to Mauritius. That's where our journey with these African Proverbs takes us today. So I'm just going to pin the link to the room, the link to the YouTube live stream. I want to pin it on top of the Clubhouse room so that everyone who is joining us can easily get to where our proverb and where I am live streaming. Our proverb says that when a leader changes mood, followers change place of their abode. When a leader changes mood, followers change places of their abode. I want you to think about what this means for you. And then I want you to join me on stage so that we can have a conversation about it. With African Proverbs, the secret is, you need to discuss them in order for you to understand their meaning. Long time ago, before we were talking about African Proverbs on a platform like YouTube and Clubhouse, and virtually the way that we've been able to do, our ancestors just used these proverbs, in conversations, in ways that, they were able to educate us with them. They were able to educate each other with them. And now we are taking advantage of the existence of these proverbs, and we are researching, finding them from all corners of the continent, and then bringing these conversations here in order for us to really learn from them and to gain African wisdom. So that's why we are here. If you have never joined us before, that's why I host these conversations here Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And my motivation really is to ground myself in African wisdom and also just to ground myself mentally. So if you are listening, I encourage you to share the link to this room, within Clubhouse. Just share, make sure you're sharing, and also join me on the stage so that I can hear your voice as well. Again, the proverb is from Mauritius that we're discussing today, and it says that when a leader changes mood, And I was looking at, a news article earlier today. Not actually a news article, a video. I want to do something here. I hear that I think that's Brother Earth. He's not muted, and he's at work commanding his troops. When a leader changes his mood, I'm just adding this to the top of the room, just to, share what we are discussing here with those who are probably scrolling through Clubhouse. I just want to add my own share and comment about our conversation before we continue on. Okay. Great. So I was researching the meaning of abode earlier, and I learned that it's actually a place where somebody lives permanently, or a place where somebody lives temporarily. And I realized that this proverb is actually very, very timely, because as I was saying a minute ago, I was watching a video, and the video, showed the picture of the president from Gabon. Gabon is a country in West Africa. It's also more Central Africa located. And the president of Gabon is called Ali Bongo. And he inherited the presidency from his father, who was the president of Gabon from 1967 to 2009. So the presidency has been in their family for years. So in this video, all the top leaders in the country were lined up, and the president was walking majestically, getting into a plane on his way to France. France is basically the country that owns Gabon, because Gabon deposits all their money. Their central bank is the French central bank. The economy is controlled in France. But the video I was watching was quite fascinating. It was raining heavily, and all these respected leaders were literally being rained on, and the president was covered with an umbrella, and he was saying bye to everybody as he was boarding the plane to France. And it just dawned on me that this proverb is speaking to that. It's speaking to how just a small change in how your leader behaves can quickly change where you live and what your loyalty is all about. And can also, in situations like Gabon, if you change your loyalty, if you change where you live, you can actually lose your life, And I was also just thinking of what this proverb could mean in other different contexts, and it just brought me back to, what is leadership really, and what is this proverb trying to tell us? So those are some questions I was asking myself as I was looking at this Mauritius proverb. I have some, a lot more that I want to share with you, but I want to take a moment to welcome Leah and Karine to the room. Thank you so much for taking your time to join us for today's conversation. This is the African Father in America podcast. We are in the African Father in America Club here on Clubhouse, but we are also live streaming on YouTube, and the link to our live stream is at the very top of the room. We do this every Monday to Friday, and we literally cannot do this without all of you who are listening and all of you who are watching right now. This work takes the village, and I deeply appreciate you all for being here. Take a moment, ping in 3 to 5 people that you believe should be here with us right now. Brother Rushi, Brother Earth, nice to see you. Lavender, nice to see you as well. Now, if you think about this proverb, if you've ever had a boss, who is in a bad mood, how quickly the mood can change in the entire office. The same is true for leaders. When a leader is in a bad mood, followers tend to change their place of abode. Followers change their loyalty. And this Mauritius proverb highlights the importance of leaders setting the tone of what is going on entirely in the whole country. Recently, President Putin of Russia, decided to begin recruiting people who would go and help with the war in Ukraine, and people fled the country in droves. And this proverb speaks to that. When the leader changes the mood and makes people do something that they don't want, he realizes that he actually has no followers. So people are literally changing their citizenship as a result. So I have 3 nuggets that I want to share with you. If you have a notepad, I want you to note this down. These are the 3 takeaways that I am hoping you can learn from this proverb. And the first one says that try to stay positive yourself. A lot of the time when you have no control, you don't have control over the behavior of the leaders that you find yourself sharing space with. Most of the time you don't have a choice about who you're going to work for until you're working for them. A lot of the time you can only research who your employer or who your boss is on LinkedIn before they employ you. And after you work with them for a while is when you realize that, oh, this person is like a chameleon, So what do? Stay positive. Number 2, avoid getting into arguments with the leader. A lot of the time we find that you will always lose if somebody is in a position of authority and you're fighting them directly. You will always find yourself in a bad situation. So if you outshine the master, you're likely going to lose. You're going to end up in so many fights. So you're better off just leaving. If it's a job, finding a new place where you're not in constant arguments with whoever your leader might be. And then number 3, focus on your work and stay productive. I did this so much in corporate America. In corporate America, a lot of the time, the leaders that you have are really like political leaders. I'm from Kenya originally, and we have a new government that is not even a month old. And just this past few days, the new president announced his cabinet. And you find that the ministers for education, or the ministers for foreign affairs, or the ministers for sports, they are people who have no background in those areas. They have no expertise in those areas where they've been given opportunities to lead. But it's because of the loyalty that they have, to the president. The new president is why they've been given those positions. So what do you do when you know that you are the expert in these specific areas? What do you do in order for you to survive? What do you do in order for you to be productive? What this proverb is teaching us is that you should just focus on your work while you're there and stay productive. So those are a few nuggets that we organized and we wanted to share with you today. And I also just want to thank you, Brother and Rushi, for being here, and of course Stella for being here. I want to invite you, Brother Earth, if you are ready, just unmute and also share with us your own perspective in regards to this proverb from Mauritius. When a leader changes mood, followers change places of their abode. Share with us your perspectives, please, and let us know where you are joining us from.
Peace and love, family. This is Brother Earth. I'm coming out of North Carolina territory. And, greetings to you and all the family as well, Simon. Always sharing the wisdom of the ancestors. And when I look at the proverb, could you read the proverb for me one more time, Simon?
Yes, of
The
course,
actual
of course.
proverb.
Yes, of course. So this proverb is from Mauritius, and it says, when a leader changes mood, followers change places of their abode. Places where they live.
Okay. Um, and I can't. It's not. I don't have it verbatim, but somewhere in the Moorish Holy Quran it states that men don't like to lead; they prefer to follow. And from just my observation, a lot of the reason or a lot of the times people prefer to follow rather than lead because in order to lead, you have to be able to analyze, critically think, and bears a lot of responsibilities. So a lot of times, uh, to keep from being a leader, people shy away from the leadership roles because they don't want to necessarily have to deal with the responsibility. And in the same way, a lot of times, people, uh, we're supposed to be people of principle or have loyalty to certain things, but a lot of time people end up having personality worship over certain leaders. And when they have personality worship over certain leaders, you know, they follow them blindly off the edge of a cliff. The racist guy that a lot of people love that was the president here, but there's a lot of foolishness that go on that people follow behind. And I'm not sure if you've seen the movie Django, but uh, when Mr. Candy Leo DiCaprio was sick, and uh, Samuel Jackson, his name was Steven in the movie. Oh my gosh, he came around and said, "You sick, boss? We sick, boss?" They picked up that whole mentality. And so, if a person is in a leadership position, is corrupt or have a nasty or bad intentions, a lot of times it spreads out to the people, or the people take that on naturally because they following blindly and not thinking for themselves. And I'm gonna park my plane right there, Simon. Peace and love.
Peace and love to you, my brother Arthur. I love your contributions, and I thank you for your time. I want to hear what Brother Rushi also has to say about today's proverb. Share with us where you're joining us from, my brother, and what your thoughts are on today's proverb.
No worries. I am calling today from Charleston, South Carolina. And as far as the proverb, I agree with Brother Earth. One thing about this proverb is talking about when leaders change their mood, followers change their abode. I kind of think of abode could be your mental state as well, not just your actual home. But it makes me think of when Barack Obama became the president of the United States, and everyone was so enthusiastic, so proud, especially the African uh, American community. Everyone was just so happy. People had on Barack Obama shirts. Uh, you know, um, a lot of people, especially the Black community, they were so involved in politics then. Everyone wanted to be involved in the political process. More people started to run for office. More people wanted to educate themselves about the process. And then when Donald Trump became the president, and when he became the leader of the free world, a lot of Black Americans mentally became depressed, or they were less involved. But you saw a different type of character come out of our country. It was a totally different country. It felt like we almost had a war. It seems at the Capitol. Um, so it makes me think of that. It makes me think of what the personality that comes upon the people when the leader changes their mood, or even not even changes their mood, they show who they really are. It's one of the main reasons why I am an entrepreneur now. I remember when I actually had a government job, and I had supervisors telling me what to do. But sometimes when you work with someone, you don't want to be as smart as the person who you're leading. A lot of times you have to repress or depress the things if you're being led by someone who doesn't encourage free thought. So it makes me think of that. Whenever you are following something, you really have to believe in the mission statement of whether it's your job. You have to believe in the mission statement of that company and really embrace that. When you have a leader who does not, who mood switches or changes, or who doesn't have positive things to say, or leads from a place of that's not healthy. So it definitely makes me think of those things, and I appreciate the time, Simon. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Yeah, I appreciate what you shared with us today. I had no idea you had a government job before, and it's definitely it's challenging. Once you know, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, yes, I did. It's very challenging. You know what? I had a government job, and one thing you realize is that, and that's one of the reasons why I think I left because you go in with all these hopes of being the person who changes things, and then you look at the structure and you say, "This is I can't I cannot flourish the way I want to flourish inside this structure." So you have to bow out gracefully. Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, it takes skills to know when to quit or when to change your abode. Like this proverb is saying, when you need to change where you live. Yeah, it's great. I want to welcome Cabs on the stage as well. I can't wait to hear your perspective on today's proverb. But I want to quickly, welcome you all. I see Anastasia and Rocky, and also I see that we've been joined here by Reda. Freda, thank you so much for being here with us. My name is Simon Okelo. I am in Seattle, Washington. It's almost 6:30 in the morning. This is a early morning show where I grab my cup of coffee. I come and pick up an African proverb, and we have a conversation and record it for my podcast, African Father in America podcast, which is available across all podcasting platforms and also on YouTube where we are live right now. I really, really thank you for taking your time and joining us for today's conversation that is grounded on a Mauritius proverb. The proverb itself says that when a leader changes mood, followers change places of their abode. So if you're here with us right now, just take a minute and share the link to this room and also ping in, 3 to 5 people to join us for today's conversation. I want to hear Stella, if you're available, share with us where you're joining us from and also what this proverb means to you. Thank you so much.
Hi Simon, can you hear me?
You sound so great today. Where are you? Are you in Seattle?
I'm still in Kampala, Uganda, and today I've managed to find some internet. Yesterday was a bit tricky. I couldn't access internet, and my phone also kept hanging up on me. But today is a bit good. And hello everyone, this is Stella joining from Kampala, Uganda. So today's proverb is a good one, and I think I've kind of grown fond of proverbs from Mauritius. I think since elections in Kenya, because they talk more of leadership, and they've kind of been like therapy for me because the elections really traumatized me in a way. Yeah, but they've been a good guide for me. So the proverb talking about leaders, yeah, it's still like growing with me in that journey of Kenyan elections. And I want to agree with what all of you have said, that you should know when to leave and when to work and all that stuff. Apart from that, I want to share that over here in Uganda, they have some really good food, the real African food. And then they also have fertile land. And then it's funny that when you speak, they can instantly recognize that you're from Kenya. I don't know why, but kind of funny for me. Yeah. So I'm happy that I was able to join today, and happy to be here. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Stella. I love Uganda too. I've been there a few times, And it's true that when you're there, they know that you're from Kenya just the moment you speak. And a lot of the time, that is because of how free Kenyans are. Kenyans say anything. And in Uganda, there are things that if you say, you can find yourself behind bars for very small things, Uganda, similar to Gabon, they've had their leader for almost 40 years, So it's always refreshing to try to talk to them about leadership, especially in Uganda. And, the food there is definitely great. I wonder, did you go by road, Stella?
Yes, I
Okay.
came by road from Kisumu, Busia, all the way.
So did you enjoy the chicken? I think it's in Bali where they have the chicken that is sold through the window, the chicken that is on sticks. Did you try those?
No, I didn't try it, but I think I have to try it when I'm going back. I saw it and I was like, what is that? And they were telling me that's roasted chicken. And I was like, really? You can work with chicken on sticks like that?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
best
I'll try it.
chicken you can.
I was told it's so sweet. So I'll try it.
Yeah, you have no idea what you missed. You should definitely try that. Anyhow,
Okay.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. To always travel within East Africa, and it's good to create time to do such things. So I'm very, very proud of you. I want to invite my wonderful friend Cabs. Cabs, I haven't heard your voice in a minute. I hope you're doing well. Share with us what your thoughts are in regards to today's proverb from Mauritius. It says that when a leader changes mood, followers change places of their abode. Okay, we'll give Cabs a moment to get close to her microphone, and I just want to invite Rocky to share his perspective. Rocky, how are you doing? I haven't.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
I hear you now. I'll come back to you, Roger, in a moment. Welcome, Cabs. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was saying, I'm in a bit of a noisy place. It was very quiet for a while. The time was listening, but of course, when you tell me to come on mic, I'm in a coffee shop. I'm out of town. I hope it's a bit more quiet. I've kind of gone to the back, hoping it's quiet.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's better? Okay.
It's great.
So first of all, I just want to thank you for having this room. I always, I really like the idea of the different proverbs, and it makes me learn about different countries and the wisdom of proverbs to really be able to explain life's circumstances. So in regards to this Mauritian proverb, it's definitely, I think many of us who have had a job have had the experience of working with probably a moody boss. And so my take on that is a lot of times, not only in this particular situation, but just if people generally, you're going to meet all kinds of people. What happens externally, many times you cannot control, but you can control how you feel about it, and you can control how you allow yourself to experience a situation. So it's for me, I think one of the things that one needs to incorporate is daily practices to keep yourself positive, like having a grateful spirit. So kind of looking on the positive side of things. And secondly, also understanding that sometimes when people are moody, it has nothing to do with you. Sometimes people are going through their own situations, and you happen to be the casualty who happens to be in front of them. It could be somebody else. You just happen to be there to be on the receiving end. So I think when you have that understanding, then it just lets you give them grace, so to speak, and not allow yourself to be impacted by their behavior. So yeah, that's my 2 cents, and it's good to see you, Simon, and to hear from you and to hear everybody else in the room. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cabs. I deeply appreciate your perspectives, especially because I know that you're an amazing leader, an amazing entrepreneur as well. So I feel that you are one of the people who should probably start, coaching people when it comes to how do you start a business in Africa and so on and so forth. I need to connect with you because I'm helping the African Chamber of Commerce of the Pacific Northwest with their annual event. They've been around for over 22 years. And as you are speaking, I thought that you should know about it. You should at least know about it. Anyhow, thank you again, for all the amazing work that you do. I want to invite someone else here, my brother Roger Tan, who has been an amazing support of this space. I remember Roger writing a blog about what we do here, some time back. So I know that you like to listen, but today I would love to hear your voice. Share with us your thoughts on this proverb from Mauritius, Roger. I hope you're doing well. Let us know where you are at the moment too.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me here. I'm signing in from sunny Singapore in Southeast Asia. And today's proverb: How when a leader changes mood, followers change places of their abode. Yeah, this reminds me that leaders have great power, and consequently, they have a certain responsibility. They have to be held to a higher standard precisely because they are leaders. I remember working for someone who was extremely temperamental and prone to leaving unprofessional remarks in the emails, in the change log, where other people could see. It was behavior that I would find more consistent with a angsty teenager. And and my colleagues, asked me why I was so openly critical, and I said, well, yes, you're right, he's human, but here's the thing. He's also a human who is in charge of an entire company. And if one of us acts out this way, it also affects the company, but our effect is not that great. He is responsible for the well-being of the company and consequently for all of our jobs. And him acting out has greater consequences than any one of us acting out. And therefore, I say again, leaders have to be held to a greater standard, to a higher standard, precisely because they are leaders. That's all from me. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great, Roger. I agree with that. I agree. Once someone chooses to be a leader, they read the job description, they understand the expectations, and also they understand the implications of the decisions they make, including their mood, and what they say in public forums. So I really, really appreciate those perspectives as well. If you're just joining us on YouTube, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's one of the ways that you can support this movement, this work that we're doing here. And also, if you're on Clubhouse and you haven't subscribed to the channel, the link is at the very top of the room. Just click it. And once you see the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up so that YouTube algorithm can recognize that, we were here. Now, I want to continue on and welcome Akati to our conversation as well. I want to hear what you have to say in regards to what this proverb from Mauritius means to you. It says that when a leader changes mood, followers change their place of abode.
Well, again, in general, that you always try to find something that make you positive, and like making an effort or put an effort to find a positive side in everything. Sometimes you cannot control what's going on or what happened to you or in general, but one thing you can do or you can control is how to, as a person or as a community, it's up to you to look for the bright side in everything and react like mostly positive. For example, when you are waiting for your friend and he is late, don't get angry. Rather, let's just make it an opportunity to develop your patient level. So, or you could probably can do something while you're waiting for him or something like that. So, not judgment. Don't judge him that he ignoring you or something like that. Try to be positive and try to think positive to always be. This is the thing that the very thing that I can advise to everyone in general, even when the leaders are not in good mood and they make a decision that affect in your life, try to think positive and try to not to lose hope always. Always you have to like hoping for the good things going to happen. Be positive, not negative. And the other thing that I want to mention is that to be grateful for the thing that you have. It is impossible to feel depressed in life if you have so many things to be grateful for. For example, health. We have good health. We have food on the plate. We have a roof under our head. Our kids are safe, and we have place to sleep, and we are safe, and something like that. This is the thing that you can make you happy, because if you compare yourself with other people, that probably you will see yourself that you live in heaven by the just the thing that you have. So we have to be grateful. Right now I'm grateful that right now I'm in this room talking to you guys, and I'm alive, and I'm happy, and I have my kids, and I have food in my fridge or something like that. I'm grateful for that one. Even if I don't have food in my fridge, I'm grateful that I'm healthy, I'm alive, I'm safe. No matter how thing may turn out, you must realize that we still have things that in our life, what most people on earth don't have. You can, if you compare yourself with other people like around the world, some people that they are fear for their safety, fear that they don't have something to eat tomorrow. Some people they go to bed hungry and something like that. So you always focus on the brain that always focus on negative thing as a human, but we will try to teach our brain that to think positively and always grateful for the thing that we have in this world. That's the thing that I look at it and create. Sometimes you can create positive environment. It is very very significant. It's very important to have positive people around you. If there is people that negative, always negative talk on negative, and if you have idea always try to knock you down or something like that, try to avoid this sort of people. Run away from them. Just try to have or make friends that are positive people around you who will help you to stay positive in negative situation. Surround yourself with people who will support you and life, you and support your life instead of put you down or knock you down or always try to judge you or something like that. And the other thing that I do, that's just as me, I always exercise, I always read, and always try to get knowledge and more information, because the more knowledge you have, the better you will get in this life. And I don't want to forget meditation. I don't want to forget physical activity and mental activity, and probably get enough sleep or express your feeling. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to express my feeling and the thing that I believe on. What can I say? In general, that there is a lot of problem and responsibility in everybody life, and it's too hard to keep positive, but we will try our best to uh, keep to create a positive environment and be happy in this life, because we live the life just once, and circumstances. We have to take all the advantage that, and we try to our best to avoid anything that negative. So this is my suggestion, and this is my idea about how to be positive in this life. But before I give this mic away, I just I have one suggestion, Simon, if you don't mind. What I'm like, for example, that in Africa we facing many challenges. I'm not quite sure if you can like focus in one challenge on one problem, and we'll try to find a solution for this problem. For example, I've been reading about the illicit drugs in Africa and how it affect people's life there. Probably you can just talk about one. This is good topic today that we're talking about, we're discussing, but I'm saying that we can start talk about the really very serious problem that's facing Africa. I'm not quite sure if you I don't mind to come and just share my idea and something like that, but I'm thinking that we can talk about something more serious. Mike free.
Thank you, Akati. I appreciate your comments and also your interest in solving real problems in Africa. That's what we do. That has been my entire life. And what we are doing here is actually solving a real problem in Africa. There's a lot of African culture that has been taken away by African colonizers. It's a fact that the person that has control of your mind has control of all your resources, and that's the biggest problem that we have in Africa. In Africa, the wars are not the problem. In Africa, poverty is not the problem. In Africa, the biggest problem is that the people who colonized African countries are controlling the minds of Africans until today, and that is through the media, So this is alternative media that we are creating, something that helps Africans take back control of their minds, something that helps African people remember what their ancestors used to say and how our ancestors used to solve problems, and also remember African wisdom and apply it in our current situation. If you look at the education system, there is no African proverbs being discussed there. There is no African wisdom in the Kenyan education system that I went through. It was British education system that was directly developed to build a workforce for the colonial government in order for us to plant a lot of tea and coffee and export it to the UK to benefit the British Empire. So for me, the work of transforming Africa is a lifetime mission. The efforts that we are making, let's say in this room, is a lifetime mission. We will not see the results of it, but we are planting a tree so that our children can enjoy the shades of the trees that we are planting now. My mother did a lot of work in the community. She ran an orphanage home from 1997 to 2013. And, she helped thousands of children get education, and those children are now, earning a living and, taking care of their families. And their families and themselves, they're much better than how they could have been without that support. And now myself and my team and a number of my own siblings, we are taking it further. We are not just providing education and shelter and food, but we are providing skill training, production training. Producing a show like this Monday to Friday is no joke. How do we build more platforms like this run by African people so that we can change the narrative about Africa? How do we build institutions that are similar to what, my mother built in Kenya, that is a safe space for people to produce films, for people to create jobs, for people to join the tech industry from within Africa. So a lot for me, I believe in changing the narrative about Africa, because the biggest tool that our our colonizers have against us is they control the narrative about Africa. If you look at the media, stories about Africa is about the wars, and it's about hunger, it's about poverty. But there is hunger and poverty here in the US. If you go to Seattle, where I live, the homeless population is bigger than it is in Kisumu, where I came from. In Kisumu, if I become homeless, my family members will look for me. If I go crazy, they might not have the mental health institutions like it is in Seattle, but they will always be coming around looking for me. And if I'm crazy completely, they might find a way to subdue me and and keep me at a place where I'm not bringing shame to the family. But here, people literally forget about you. The moment you cannot be tamed, people forget about you. I've seen a lot of Kenyan immigrants here who have died in the cold during the winter because they got into drugs and people completely forgot about them. So for me, it's about creating sustainable platforms and creating sustainable businesses, and not just talking. So for me, Akati, if you want to build a stronger relationship with me and for me to connect you with the right people, it's really about figuring out what difference do you want to make, and not just talk. Personally, I've worked in Liberia and Malawi and South Sudan, in many countries in Africa, and also here in the African diaspora in Seattle. We bring thousands of people from all over Africa and also the African diaspora together every year. In August last month, we brought 7,000 people together over 2 days during Madaraka Festival. And, this work that we are doing requires partnerships, from Africa to Asia to Brazil. And it requires the understanding that we are just planting trees and we are never going to enjoy the fruits from that tree. It's our children and maybe their children's children that are going to enjoy, the shades that we are planting. So I would really appreciate to have time to connect further. But right now, I think the work is to just do something small every day so that you can sustain it. And that's why, for me, having this space where we can build and share African proverbs every day is part of planting those small seeds every day. And then they're growing, they're growing into different things, and they're growing also into real work, I remember when I first met Rushi, who is here in this room, I never knew that we could go to Kenya together. But now we can talk, and he can actually go and run one of the projects that we have in Kenya because we've built trust. We see each other constantly. But he has also gone there and he has seen the real work that we are doing there. He knows Steve personally, and for me, it's about that. A lot of people can give you $10 million to do a project, but then $10 million is probably like change to them. They don't care what impact that money has on the community. They don't care whether you squander that money. What they care about is for you to send them a video telling them how great they are and how great their company or their family is to African people. And for us, it's just a little different. It just requires a lot more than that. So I'm not pushing back, in regards to what you said, but I'm just saying what you're doing here by coming here consistently, for me, it's really valuable than organizing another space for us to talk about the atrocities in Africa. Because when, let's say we talk about the Congo, the war in Eastern Congo, I will tell you that the direct purpose, the reason why the conflicts are going on is because the tech companies that need the minerals for our phones, our watches, our TVs, they're the ones that are fueling this. While the conflicts are going on, while people are dying, the beneficiaries are known. There are corporations and governments that collude in order for places in Africa that have oil, that have wealth. Those are the most conflict prone places. So for me as an ordinary citizen is to do work that is going to outlive me and and my children, and that is something like this. I'm sorry I took a lot of time, and that's how we are going to really wrap up our time here together today. I just want to thank you again, Akati, for being bold to bring that up. Go ahead and share something.
Thank you, brother. I do really appreciate what you're doing, you and with your group. That's a great thing to do. And all I can tell you that please keep the good work up. And I'm quite aware of what's going on in Africa and who's fueling that sort of thing and who's causing that all this problem. It's not, as you said, African continent or African people, they don't suffer from hunger. And they don't, but as you said, there is somebody control their mind. That's true. Somebody try to keep that conflict or civil war keeping going because that's how they get the benefit of African people. I totally understand because this is my area. This is my specialized field about Africa, especially the conflict or the armed conflict in Africa. And you have mentioned Congo, East Congo. That's right. That's correct. This place is the most rich place in the world. They have all the mineral that we need. That's why it has to be conflict there so the other people can steal our resource. That's true. I understand that. You work on your field, I work on my field, and our aim is that to make this country better. But I do appreciate the thing that you do is grateful, and I'm grateful for what we're doing. And that's great thing. And this is a free service for all African people in the world, and even the people that they have a African descent, not just in Africa, but we have brothers in Caribbean, we have brothers in North America, we have brothers in South America, we have brothers all over the world. If you read history, we have been taken from Africa, from our land, motherland, to all over the world. That's true. You to know what's going on in Africa, you have to read the history, you have to know your background, what's going on with you long time ago, and you will understand what's going on at the moment. I do appreciate, and I will try to contribute as much as I can. But my field is that to make people aware of the armed conflict and what caused it and how we can prevent armed conflict in the future. That's very true. I write, I talk, I do the thing that I'm able to do. But whenever I have time, I will come and contribute in your room. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Akati. And go ahead and send me a message on Instagram so that we can connect. I would be interested to interview you as a guest on this podcast so that we can just go deeper. I want to have a deeper understanding of the work that you do when it comes to solving the conflicts in Africa, because I have quite a few friends who are doing exactly the same work on the ground in Africa, in many different countries. Remember, I have been organizing Africa Day here on Clubhouse and also in person in Seattle. And, through that, I've been able to gather so many people from across Africa that are doing a lot of research around conflict resolution, even what's going on in Tigray currently. I have interviewed a lot of professors and professionals from the Tigray community. And so I'm very, very interested in what you do and your passion. And this speaks to yesterday's proverb, why we should really, really invest more time in what we're passionate about. So thank you. And I want to welcome all our wonderful guests. I see that we have Dennis, we have Steven, we have Sambaza, we have Latanja, Eric, Mama Yama is also here, and of course Lavender and Robert, and I see that we have also MC Spano is here with us. We've had a really, really great conversation for the last 1 hour, And this show is called The Daily African Proverbs, and it's being recorded for the African Father in America podcast, which is a 5-star rated podcast on Apple Podcast, and it's available also across other podcasting platforms. And also right now we are live streaming on YouTube. The link is at the top of the Clubhouse room. Please make sure you subscribe. That's one of the ways that you can support. And also, someone on YouTube, Kesiwa has also really been an amazing supporter of this, movement. Kesiwa, even if she does not show up for the Clubhouse discussion, she comes through on YouTube and comments and shares a lot of the content on Instagram and Twitter. And I just want to give you a shout out and, let you know that we appreciate you. Kesiwa is saying that, this is an incredibly important conversation and movement that we are a part of right now here with the Daily African Proverbs. This is now the end of our time together. Tomorrow is Friday and it's the last day of these productions for this week. Then next week we are back again Monday to Friday. We are putting in a lot of work, making sure we are consistent. And we can't do it on our own. So if you want to join this movement, if you want to help make this better, send me a DM on Instagram. My handle is at Okelo Javan. My profile is connected to my Clubhouse profile, and I would love for you to follow me on Instagram so that we can stay connected, but also so that you can learn what the proverb is before this conversation begins. So take good care of yourselves and have a beautiful rest of your day. Peace and love.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.